welcome, welcome, welcome. Come in, come in, come in. This is Tamika's Den. I am Tamika. Get on in here, y'all. Get on in here. Kick off your shoes and relax your feet. You are now in the den. Baby, this is my recap review, child, for PowerBook 2 Ghosts, Season 3, Episode 4, Human Capital. Okay? They say it's a big rich town. Hey. I just come from the poorest part. Listen, y'all. Honey, it's getting messy out here in these streets, all right? Lorenzo getting his butt kicked up, down, side to side, in and out, and all around. Him and Drew over here looking like the bruised twins. Kane got the power going to his head, baby. You can't tell him he ain't the big man in charge, and you going to have to convince me that Drew ain't smart enough to put two and two together, that something is up. And Dirty Diana, okay, it's going to be like two cans sand from the Fruit Loops, child. Follow my nose, okay? She gonna be all up in it, and she definitely gonna figure out something is going on. Monet mouth is getting her in trouble because she don't know how to keep it shut and let Davis do his daggone job that she's telling him to do. You know, Sachs is on the case with Theo, and Whitman is on the case trying to get Monet. He got his foot on her neck. But at the same time, he's messing himself up and probably blowing up the daggone case. Jenny and Blocker still ain't doing a damn thing. They still don't know a damn thing. They still, child, ain't getting no damn where. All right, can we all agree on that? And, you know, child, speaking of Diana, she over here with Mr. You know, I don't know. I done Googled your family. Okay, keep an eye on him, y'all. Keep an eye on him. Busy over here throwing shade in the daggone class at Tariq and, you know, Effie. When, child, you need to be worried about what's going on in your family. And first and foremost, what's going on with them daggone books and how you going to pay them. Because apparently them checks ain't really clearing. But, you know, we know Poppy going to be asking her to join the family business. Even though that's just going to have him with Kane whipping his behind again. You know. Effie did finally open up and tell Tariq the truth, so I give her credit for that. Okay, I still don't trust you, boo, and I still got my eyes on you. And we know that, child, Braden is not for these streets, okay? He ain't for the streets. He is for Wall Street, all right? But not the streets out here. Now, let's go ahead and get into this episode, y'all. Break it on down, take it from the top. You know how we do. So we start this episode off, you know, we got Braden and Tariq over here hanging with Davis, okay, looking fine as can be, honey. And they getting these suits, and Tariq was like, yo, I need a watch to go with this suit, you know, to make a little flavor. So he like, y'all got the bread for that? You know, of course we do. And we seeing Effie out here in these streets. She, you know what I'm saying, moving, okay, getting these little bricks off. And child, we got a girl asking her what's good. You started moving stuff as, you know, Stansfield yet? Like, what's holding you up, boo? You know, you getting caught up with Tariq and she talking about some no. So we see Kane and, you know, Poppy pull up and I'm like, okay, what's going on? Y'all going to do a drop? All right, cool. You know, Poppy putting in that work because Kane told him he had to. But baby, that wasn't the only thing that Kane had in store, honey. Poppy got a behind kicking, all right. Apparently payback probably for, you know, Kane getting beat up that time when the guards got, you know, beat up on him when he went up to the jail. And also, you know what I'm saying, a little get back for getting Drew beat up. So I said, listen, I ain't mad at it. Take it, Poppy, all right? Take it. So now we basically go from that to child. Drew over here trying to get on Everett, okay, digging out backs, and he on Grindr looking through all these daggone guys getting text messages. So basically, he still ain't doing a damn thing. Now, you know, freaking Kane is coming home talking about another one, okay, in my DJ Khalil voice. But as soon as he get in, him, Effie, Braden, and, you know, Tariq is all getting texts at the same time to come to the warehouse. And when they get to the warehouse, OB has basically got these pictures out. They like, yo, what the hell is this? All right. And he is like, this is incentive because y'all said y'all wanted to fill Mecca shoes and y'all still ain't did nothing. They was like, well, we done moved at least, you know what I'm saying, half a product or a third of a product since last week. And he was like, you know, everything is going to be okay. He said, well, this is going to make it sure that it's okay. We don't want no delays and we need y'all to expand y'all thinking. So, you know, boom, there goes Diana. Boom, there goes Braden's parents. Boom, there goes freaking, you know what I'm saying, Tariq's grandma. So he talking about we'll start out out with Diana first, then we'll hit your daggone parents and we'll save grandma for last. I said, well, damn. Then he, basically throwing a little shade at Effie talking about Orphan Annie. We ain't got really too much on you. So at the end of the day, all your friends will be up out of here if y'all don't get to work. Okay. So he basically was like, y'all need to up these plans, and he go about his business. Now, Jenny, Child, Blanca, and Dagon Whitman, they got this little hole in the wall office, and she talking about oh, well, this don't look like they got so much confidence in us, and they got them on a short list. I said, girl, does it matter what size the office is? It look like they gave them a damn closet, okay? But basically, they like, all right, we got to prove it to them or whatever. They not letting him, get Ramirez information or whatever. They're holding that down. They're not going to have, him basically taking down a cop without having some type of concrete proof. And then she's talking about, Jenny killing me. Well, I'm the one with the CI and, I don't work for you. You work for me or whatever the case may be. Aren't y'all all working together? Because, not for nothing, Jenny. Your CI wasn't giving you nothing. You didn't have nothing. And even though I can't stand Whitman, he was the only one, that actually was coming with something. And we are basically talking about the blue wall and it's bullshit that comes with it. So, of course, they don't want to, come after that. Now, he got a hard on for Dagon Monet, and in the meantime, they got a hard on for Tariq. So now we having a damn argument on whose hard on is more important. And when he's basically bringing up Ramirez, they like, well, we don't want to focus on him. We could actually focus on Mecca. Then when they say, well, why don't we look at, they say Carrie was basically, taking out her life. Okay, she took her own life. We can't prove anything otherwise with that, so we don't want to go with that. And when he's like, well, what about Lauren? Of course, Jenny hurries up. Oh, that was just a car crash. They was like, yeah, but we could look into it and make sure, of course, she want to hurry up and throw them off that trail because we all know that Lauren is still alive. And so they keep saying how Tariq is so critical in this Rico. And he was like, what the heck is it with y'all? This kid is not basically the one that's in charge of everything. He's not the one that's did all this stuff, even if he do have something to do with it. She telling him to take it easy, that he getting emotional right now. And he was like, y'all the two that look emotional to me on how hard y'all keep going after this damn boy. I'm going to take my behind out here and actually do some work. So he leaves them. Now, in the meantime, we do have Effie somewhat come clean, okay? She want to talk about I did want to speak to you about something and I don't want you to freak out. I actually wanted to go ahead and move some things at Stansville. And he's like, why would you want to do that? He's like, no, we already talked about it. All the heat that Braden had, that's crazy or whatever the case may be, plus my shit. And she's basically like, well, there had never been nothing with me though, you know what I'm saying? And I know that I could do it or whatever the case may be. And right now we got to do everything we could do as far as Noma's concerned to get rid of this product. So she was like, since she started selling, of course, she always been trying to save and make sure she had enough for college and grad school and all of that. And he was like, I get it. And he was like, that's why you stay driving that beat up car. And she like, I know you ain't having jokes when you around here walking. So now, he's like, well, if anybody could get away with it and anybody wouldn't be caught, it would be you. Okay. And he told her he get it. So he's like, you know what I'm saying? I'm okay with it. And she was like, you sure? He like, yeah. So now we get to class, and of course, we always know the class is going to talk about what is the title in the show, right? So it's human capital. Now here goes Diana. Oh, to me, it means when people is using you as long as they could use you and then they get rid of you, for example, my damn family. Girl, nobody care about your family, all right? Nobody cares, And so then you have some other people talking about, businesses and how they use the employees and how they usually don't pay them their worth, which is 100% facts on facts on facts. And them saying, well, that's not right. And we have another boy that seems to be getting a little personal when this one girl talks where she's like, well, human capital seems to be while you was able to get in this class, while we got certain buildings and classrooms that's named after you and you actually have more access and all of this. So Teach was basically like, listen, hold up. Let's not get personal. Let's keep it straight to the facts. Does everybody understand? And they are like, yes, ma'am. So now Diana again tries to hit and throw shade at Tariq and Effie. So I'm like, girl, what is going on here? Like, calm your butt down. Nobody don't owe you nothing, all right? And Tariq throws a little shade at Miss Bouchonda talking about, yeah, like how you stole the daggone internship from me. And she's like, I didn't steal nothing, okay? Tay said no to you and yes to me. So basically, when they coming up out of there, TA want to talk about some, I had Googled your father and there's a lot going on there. I mean, a drug lord, manslaughter, child, what's going on and all of that. And she was like, why would you do that? Like, you didn't have to Google anything. You could have just asked me about my family if you wanted to know something about them, and I would have told you. I said, girl, red flag number one. And he looks up and he's like, well, why is this brother staring over here at us, girl? What is he looking at? Okay. And she's like, well, actually, that's my brother. Okay. So she go over to Kane and he looking at him like, yo, who's this dude? What the heck he, what I'm saying, all up in your grill for? And she's like, what are you doing here, Kane, or whatever? And he basically is also, trying to give her this gun. And she was like, what? No, what the heck are you doing? He was like, you going to need some protection. Things is a little crazy after everything that Tariq and them did here. You got to keep your head on the swivel and all of that. And she was like, I'm not trying to be in the family business or whatever the case may be. And he's like, well, good, because what I'm saying, I want you to stay away from everything and I want you to be safe. So he was saying how, I think she mentioned something about basically being able to make money or whatever, and he sees that she's over here working at the daggone school store, and he was like, you serious? Like, nah, you don't need to do that. He takes some money out and give it to her and was like, anything you need, I'm gonna let you hold, I'm gonna hold you down. I'm not gonna let you go out like that. Here, take this. Now, Kane is a little cuckoo head, but he do care about his sister. Now, over here at the bar, Whitman don't even waste no time, child. He just left Jenny in them office with them saying, don't mess up this case and don't go bothering Monet no more. And what you think the first stop that is? The damn bar, okay? So Monet is basically like, car bars down the street, you in the wrong, place. And he's like, oh no, I'm right in the right place, okay? I want to, come in and check in. He's like, light crowd, I guess because you don't have so many homicides and you don't, been able to fix up the place real quick and real good since, having it all shot the heck up. So I'm going to go ahead and look into who the contractor was or whatever. You done had a lot of drive-bys and things. And he's like, how's Drew, by the way? And she's like you really give a damn. So he was saying maybe he'll just ask him, himself. And he was like, while I'm here, I'm going to give you the chance to end all of this and come into the office and talk to me about anything you want to talk about. We could sit down and have a nice talk. You could bring your daggone lawyer, however you want to do it. And so she was like, the door's where you left it, And he was like, I'm really starting to love these nice little chats we having or whatever. And so he go ahead and leave. Of course, she's pissed off. And at this point, she don't call David. She goes in, in person and basically tells him, like, you could stop calling and hanging up on me. And he's like, what are you talking about? I never called you. She's like, now, I'm going to take a lot of things, but I'm not going to take you lying to me. And he takes out the phone and shows it to her and was like, are you happy? And she's basically like, no. Okay. At the end of the day, I'm like, Davis, pay attention. Okay. Granted, of course, Saxon deleted the damn the fact that he had dialed the number last night out of the phone. But if she's telling you, somebody called, you need to be paying attention. But anyway, Monet was at least smart with that part because she gives him a whole new burner phone and tells him to throw that one out, right? And then he's still telling her to calm down, that he got it handled. He's going to put in a complaint or whatever the case may be. And he's like, I'm glad you found a sense of peace as far as the case, your son's situation went or whatever, but I didn't call you, what I'm saying? And I got no reason to lie about that. And he's like, if you do what I say, then everything should be okay. If you want to do this, we got to do it my way. You got to do exactly what I say. So she's like, okay, all right, no problem. But of course, we know daggone Monet ain't going to listen but so much, child. It's a problem that all the time how they seem to have, if we being honest. So I remember also that when Kane went by the school, he had told Diana to come by the penthouse for dinner. So now when she's there, he's really getting down to the nitty gritty and letting her know that she's on Noma and radar, and that they basically have these pictures. So he's like, you got to be real careful. We got to do everything these people, say to do, or we could all end up dead. Do you hear me? So, of course, Diana, just being Diana, is like, yo, who the heck you talking to and who died and made you king? And he just looks at Lorenzo like, you want to tell her or should I? And Lorenzo was like, yeah, listen to Kane or whatever, right? So right there, Drew and her should have already known something was up. And so then he begins to say that they need to have this plan. And he's just ready to go and wipe out every damn body, okay? He wanted to take out the Castillo brothers and, mind you, Drew is at the table when he busy on damn Grindr getting messages or whatever. But finally, he puts his phone down and starts paying attention. And he's like, "Yo, what the heck are you talking about? You gonna just take all of them out? Like, granted, we haven't hung out with them in a while, but we literally grew up with them. They're like family or whatever the case may be." So he was like, "That doesn't even make sense." And Kane like, "Okay, well, tell me something that does make sense. Are you just gonna sit there, and look at your phone all damn day? Did you actually put it down so that you could bring something to this conversation and give me a better idea? Or did you put it down just so you could sit here and run your damn mouth, right?" And so he was like, "We got to move all of this and we ain't got no time to play no games. So we got to do what we got to do." So now he's saying he want to take over the, Brooklyn or whatever, which is where they are at. And, they get their stuff from the Russians and all of this. And so basically Drew is like, "Wait, you're talking about taking out Gilmoro and Gordo and Gilberto?" And Kane is like, "I know they damn names. You ain't got to read them off to me." So actually Drew does come up with a plan, child, when he puts the phone down for 2 damn seconds. And he says, instead of taking them out, let's take out the person that they get from. That way they don't got nobody to get from. And then they would have to come to us and we could tell them about a product. And of course we can't have it be anybody that is, affiliated with us or any of us directly, because then they gonna know that we was involved in it or whatever, right? So they actually all agree on that and say that that is smart. And he was saying we can't have bodies and can't have a war right now. And so I'm like, okay, cool. Now, in the meantime, it wouldn't look like, they went behind their back and all of that. And so again, Diana is basically, because he says, "Okay, yeah, we could do that." And he was like, "I'm going to be taking care of this in the meantime." Again, Diana is like, "Well, since when you calling shots? Poppy should be handling that call." And again, Kane looks at him and was like, "I said I got it." And she's like, "Ah." And he's like, Kane is in charge, okay? It's Kane's call. And so, it's his plan and we're going to follow what his saying. Diana and, Drew is just both looking back and forth like, what's going on here, right? And we all knew that it was going to be obvious once we would see the dynamic between them. So now we got, Chris from The Wire, okay? I think his name was SG in here. And apparently he's the most powerful black man in the world, okay? And he over here giving a speech or whatever because Tariq was asking Braden, like, so he's one of the most richest black men in the daggone country. And he was like, nah, the world, right? And so, of course, this is who his uncle is here with, trying to connect with or whatever. And so, he's giving this speech about people eating out of, the hands of these higher ups and more powerful people, whatever. So he's basically like, telling Braden is telling Tariq maybe we'll meet him too. Now, in the meantime, homegirl is telling Braden uncles like, "I don't agree with what you're trying to do. I don't think this is the right way to do it." So he was like, "Listen, if you want to just get the spa package and go home, you can. Nobody's forcing you to do this." And by the time they walk to the bar area and she sees Tariq there, she's like, "Oh, right, because it doesn't matter. As long as, trade one black face for another, one black face as good as another or whatever." And she walks away with an attitude. Of course, he don't care. So then he walk over to them and telling them they looking sharp and tell them, to come on and sit with him or whatever, right? And so he's basically trying to catch up, of course, and put his little, bid in or whatever and tell him about, the clients that he have and what he could bring. SJ is coming down the stairs and, of course, everybody trying to get a picture of him. And Braden uncle is saying he'll come to us when he's ready. So sure enough, just as he's saying that, he come over and Braden is like, "Here we go." So he comes over and he's like, "Nice to see you," or whatever, RSJ, right? And so, of course, he introduces them to Braden and Tariq and he tells him, "Well, you got 2 minutes or whatever, right?" And he was like, "If you would allow me to investigate with you, invest with you rather, right? We basically would be able to, bring you to some new heights and make you even more money." So he was like, "I'm curious. You got me, interesting." He was like, "Is this racial motivation?" And so, Braden uncle, of course, is saying, "Nah, it's about the green. That's what it's about. It ain't about no, racial stuff." So he was like, "No risk, no reward, and I'll be in New York soon or whatever." And so RSJ was basically saying, "Let's set up a formal meeting." So Tariq goes and was like, "Can I ask you a question?" And he's like, "You just did." And he's basically like, I really, liked your speeches about your speech. So he stops and he was like, so how you talked about the economy scale, can you elaborate? And so he basically was like, well, in the most simplest way is basically big enough to sacrifice some profit and provide, more affordable product or whatever that could be cheap to customers on a more scale, the profit of, hot and become a high end to customers like ants on a hill. So Tariq was like, okay, that makes sense. Thank you. So he was like, why do you know why Lucas brought you here today? And Tarika's like, of course I do, so I could appeal to you. He was like, well, good, straightforward, I like that. And he was like, make sure you're using them as much as you're using him. He was like, well, I got to make SRG, didn't I? And he said, that's right. And he laughed. So he was like, what's your name? And of course he's like, Tariq St. Patrick. He got, good to meet you, Tariq. And Tariq is saying likewise. So I think that was a smart move. Okay. Now, moving on from there, we get to David sitting down with Whitman and Monet, right? He pulling out all these pictures, child, of all these people he done seen come by her bar that disappeared, okay? The contractor that hasn't been back around, some other gang member that ain't never came back around, Rico Barnes, who was a known dealer or whatever, and, presumed dead. And so, of course, Davis is like, this is all circumstantial, you know what I'm saying? You don't have no common causes with this. They talking about Joseph Parks, who was found outside on the street corner somewhere or whatever. And she's just looking at them, somebody else, DC Joe or whatever. So he was like, it's still no correlation here. And it's crazy to me that you wasting all these police hours scouring traffic cams. So he was like, and then you come and tell me about Guap killing Zeke. He was like, I was under the impression that, Zeke had got killed because he got mistaken for Mecca. And you could just see the look on David's face where he's like, girl, you went in there and told him what? So now she's basically like, all I ever did is try to protect Dagon Zeke or whatever the case may be. Watch your damn mouth. She was like, if anything, you probably, for all I know, took out damn Carrie and trying to set somebody else up, like they did it or whatever the case may be, right? And then he's saying that he's gonna look into, Zeke, your nephew or your son or whatever. I'm gonna definitely dig into this new info that you gave me too, because, like I said, he felt like he was on a completely different path, and now she put him on another one. And so he was like, and I know you probably took out Dante Spears too. And so, of course, when she jumped up and she started yelling at him and all of that and saying, you trying to lay a guilt trip on me or whatever the case may be, and then blame it on me or whatever, Davis is like, enough, we're done. And Davis starts getting on her like, yo, what was that? Why the hell would you sit there? Now you gave him more information to take with him, and we don't know if he working with the FBI or whatever. He was like, we agreed that, I was going to handle this. And she talking about some, no, we didn't agree on anything. He was like, yeah, well, now that is basically, about to go ahead and probably take this case to the next level or whatever. And so she was like, well, can he come for, the money that Zeke had got with his defense or whatever? And she was like, we gonna need to talk to Tariq. I said, Lord, they always got to pull back in Tariq some kind of way. So now Diana see her check, child, welcome to the real world. And she talking about something, I know this ain't it. And you got Braden's sister over here with some daggone little product talking about, do you want to do something? And she like, no. And she's like, where did you get that from anyway? And she was like, well, I don't know. Braden and Tariq and Effie claim that they ain't into nothing. But she's like, yeah, I'm sure, right? And acting like she have a damn attitude about that. So now, Braden and Tariq have came up with this new idea with caffeine. It was Braden's idea. He's breaking it down to Tariq of how they could get these cups where they have these orders for coffee or whatever, and it has false bottoms, and they're able to move it, right? And the whole way that they are going to do it is kind of like through, Bitcoin, the stock market, and that type of thing, or whatever the case may be, so that nobody would be able to pick up on it or whatever, right? And they could kind of maneuver and be able to make their profit, and nobody would notice a dip. It's actually a very smart idea. So that's the next step on what they're going to use. And then they're explaining it to, Kane and them. Not that I think they understand any damn thing he was saying Drew might have, but I doubt Kane did. And so basically they say that they're going to go ahead and take out, you know what I'm saying, the people, of course, tell them the plan that they have to take out the people that Castillo boys is getting. So he's like, Frank, and Tariq's like, Frank that I told y'all was snitching, and he's like, yeah. So he, here go Kane talking about if they anything like they old man, they could have a Castillo family reunion. I say, yo, he's a damn fool. But of course, they are doing all of this for them to become the connect. So they like, okay, good, everybody, you know what I'm saying, get to business, do what y'all gotta do. So as they getting ready to leave, Kane asked to speak to Braden alone, and Tariq was saying he was getting a call that he had to go or whatever. So it was actually a text from Davis telling him to come to the office. Now, Kane ends up telling Dagon Braden, like, yo, you gotta go take out the guy. He's gonna be at church or whatever. And he's like, what? He was like, oh my God, I went to Catholic school. Like, what the heck that gotta do with anything, right? I guess he just didn't want to take nobody out that was coming out of church. But Braden don't want to take nobody out at all anyway. And then he's like, I'm gonna go to hell. And he was like, boy, you going to hell any damn way, so I don't know what you talking about. But mind you, Tariq had just walked away. I was like, nobody waits for nobody to walk out the room. Y'all talking all loud. So here, Kane going, well, you took out homegirls and you took out your best friend's girlfriend, so it shouldn't be an issue for you to go ahead and take, this guy out or whatever, right? Kane just keeps trying to prove and have something over Dagon Braden that he could use to be able to say that he took somebody out too. That's how I feel about it. Even though he's right, he doesn't want it to be any kind of connection that comes back to him. So if he's using like a white boy, as he say, right, then they wouldn't expect any white boy to be affiliated with them. But if it's somebody black, then more than likely they would look at it like it's one of their peoples, even if it wasn't one of them directly. And so he basically gets to the office, Tariq, and he sees that Monet is there too. So he's like, what's up? What's going on? Of course, they give him the breakdown about Whitman. And he's like, yeah, he been snooping hard on the campus or whatever. If he's on Monet, then more than likely he's on him too. And so Davis is telling him, stay away from Monet and stay away from the penthouse. Well, child, he done messed that up 2 for 2, because he literally just leaving the penthouse, and now he's being seen in the office with Davis and Monet with sacks on the side. Of course, he always got to be the one to come walking up and catch something, and he over here taking damn pictures of them on the damn phone. And of course, none of them even see him and know that he's there, taking pictures. Now, back at the Dagon campus, at this point, Braden is basically venting and done told Effie the whole breakdown. And when Tariq get there, he's like, what's going on? What did Kane want to talk to you about? And he tells him, and he's like, well, why the hell is he putting you to do it? And he explains everything, and Effie hurries up and jumps in, of course, and talks about, well, yeah, maybe this is good that he does this, and he do have to eventually, be able to go ahead and catch a body or whatever and do what he got to do and step his game up. So Tariq is saying, we in this all together, we all gonna go, and we will have your back just in case anything goes wrong. So now Whitman comes back to Jenny and them again. And they are like, I know you didn't take your behind over there to Monet. Like, did you say anything to them about Mecca? And of course, he gets quiet. And they like, damn, you gonna mess up this whole freaking case to us. You over here giving her damn warnings or whatever the case may be. You are too out of control. We over here trying to put 2 and 2 together and be able to, bring them all in and prove that they've been tied in together. And she was like telling Dagon Blanca that she got a plan, okay, but they may not like it. So we see Effie right back up where these damn lockers is, and then freaking Diana's like a damn stalker, stalking on the damn stairs, waiting for her, talking about some, oh, I thought y'all said nobody wasn't moving nothing because it was too hot. And she was like, well, I never said that. She was like, yeah, no, you didn't. She was like, but you did, however, tell me to stay away from Tariq, that he was big problems and that I shouldn't get in with him. And she was like, yeah, I did tell you that. And I told you that because that's what I really felt. She was like, me and Tariq are different. Okay, so of course you wasn't supposed to get with him, girl, but I didn't say anything about I couldn't get with him. And she, like, I ain't gonna be fighting you over no damn dude, girl. And then Diana says, well, I don't want to fight over nobody either. Effie talking about I was trying to help you, not hurt you, girl. Let's not tell lies, okay? But she did keep it the real about the rest of it, and she's telling her that she should come on and work with her. And she was like, nah, I don't want to work with y'all. I'm good. She was like, but your little, store job, and she was like, yeah, with my little candy store salary, I'm good. And she go ahead and walk away. I say, yeah, funny how that changed later in the episode. So we get Sax going in and talking to Theo, and he's asking him how tall he is, and he's like, well, why are you asking me about that? What the heck does that matter? Are you here to be my lawyer or my therapist or my damn, what I'm saying, freaking suit designer or whatever? And he was like, well, I'm asking you that because the person that did this was like 6'4" and you're only 5'11", so unless you had on some type of lifts, I'm confused how this never came up. Did you know anything about the daggone records and what it says? So he was saying that no, he didn't know or whatever. And he was like, well, this right here that I have is showing that you did know. And he was like, I don't care what the hell the papers say, I didn't know, okay? And he's like, I'm gonna call Davis and let him know that you came in here. And of course, he also, Sax was saying, like, unless you was trying to cover up for somebody, this doesn't make sense. And it's like a light bulb finally goes off in his head, and he puts 2 and 2 together and realizes that it's 4. Now we get Tay over here trying to be a smooth operator, okay, with Professor, and say, the girl that she saw him with was just a date. And she was like, man, you bring a date to a daggone memorial? Like, that's tacky, okay? Who told you to do that? And he's saying how she was the love of his life, okay? He ain't have nothing as good as her since she left him high and dry, crying, in the streets saying, why, why, why? So he going in for the kiss, and the next thing you know, Blanca and Jenny is staring all in his face or whatever, and he tells her to excuse him for a minute. He's like, are you okay? And she's like, yeah. So she was, they telling him, it's funny you running on an anti-drug platform, but every time we turn around, you seem to be messing with some drug dealer, okay? And you actually messed up both of our cases. And he like, well, Tate, I ain't got nothing to do with that. I don't know what y'all talking about, okay? And as far as Tariq, he is actually, tried to come and do an internship with me, but it didn't work out, and he's actually doing an internship, with the Westons, okay, actually with Braden, who did admit to committing a crime, okay? So he was like, I'm gonna go ahead and see y'all later. And they talking about, yeah, we gonna catch up with you. So now the Russian guy is leaving Dagon Church, and Braden tries to go up and I don't know what the hell Braden was doing. Like, he was acting like he was basically doing a delivery and froze or whatever. He could not pull off the job. Tariq had to come and save him. He shoots up the guy. Braden done dropped the bag, mind you, that he was trying to so-called act like he was doing a delivery of some food or something with. So is it not going to be handprints on that, or we just don't care about that, or we not looking for that? I don't know, y'all. But, Tariq also pops the guy while he's down, and then he thinks quick and pulls them into this restaurant. At first they were saying like, oh, well, people can't just walk in off the street, and Tariq hit him with some extra money, okay, and hit him with that on, Italian too. I said, okay, Tariq, come through. So when, they get in there and they sit down, Braden is apologizing. He's like, okay, not everybody is made for that. You know what I'm saying? And we just kind of realizing that that's just not you, and it's okay. But at the end of the day, as a family, we always got to have each other backs. And then Braden asked to be excused for a minute, okay? He over here having a panic attack, needed to go to the side and breathe in, breathe out, relax, relate, release. And, freaking Tariq starts pouring his heart out to Effie, talking about some, I can't wait for you to meet my mother. You remind me so much of her and all this other stuff. And he was basically like, she was the smart one. She was the brains behind my dad that ran everything. He was so dumb and boo, 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 boo. I'm so much smarter than him. I was like, I don't know about all that part, damn, Tariq, but I get it. That's his view as a child, in the way that he saw it. But we all know otherwise. And so the whole time that he is basically saying, I can't wait for you to meet my mother. Child, Effie was looking at him like, I could give a damn about meeting your mother. I'm not trying to do that. Like, you saying too much. You doing too much. Slow down. But, she was like, what the heck you think we are? Some type of Bonnie and Clyde? And he was like, hell no. He basically was saying that his mom had everything figured out and his dad had everything messed up. And, he was like, I know I'm better than him. I'm smarter than them. And she was like, so what does that all mean for us when it's all said and done? And so he over here talking about some Thomas and Broadshot, I think he said. He was like, it's a classic, it's fire, and that it was actually his mom's favorite. And so she just was like, you crazy boy, all right? And then, of course, they got to do the kissy, kissy, poo. So Frank boys get there, whatever, and they come to say, what's going on. One of them talking about he done lost weight, he been seeing a trainer and all of this. And so Kane is saying how they could solve all their problems. And they was like, well, we haven't agreed to anything yet. It's kind of real coincidence that the person we was getting from, got taken out. So Kane opening in his damn mouth too soon. Okay, like I said, a trait that the Tejadas have. And he talking about, we heard that it was a white boy that did it and all of us got melanin. So they like, nah, we heard it was somebody black. So where did you just so happen to hear that it was somebody white? And, Daddy Poppy hurried up and stepped up and was like, oh, I did. I heard it from some stupid kid or whatever the case may be. And, basically he want them all to come in together and it makes sense. And they were all like family anyway. So our families, should be working together, and how he remember their dad and all this other stuff. And so, of course, he's saying how their father would have loved this. And then they go and huddle when they come back and they like, all right, we going to do this. So Kane talking about some, who basically, might have been having second thoughts about it or saying that it wasn't a good deal. And they was like, right now we all on one accord. We make this decision together, and that's that. And when Kane was like, let's celebrate, brother was like, yeah, nah, not today. Okay, we may come back another time and take you up on that. So Drew was like, do you want to tell me what's really going on? Because you talking about Kane is in charge all of a sudden. He was like, is something going on between you two? I just can't put my finger on it quite yet, but I know it's some bullshit. Okay, and he going upstairs. So Kane over here clapping his hands or whatever, talking about beautifully done, Pops. You a damn good actor. Okay, bravo. We need to get you the Oscar up in here. And he was like, I'm going home, Kane. So Kane talking about some, hold up, wait a minute. Okay, and basically gives him the bag and was like, the stupid kid part and the freaking family comes first part with Drew felt real extra. So since you extra, I'm going to need you to move some extra weight. Go ahead and pick this bag up and take it with you. So, he talking about give mom a hug for me, and Poppy started laughing. So I'm like, but what you got up your sleeves, Poppy? What you laughing for? You know something we don't know. Now in the meantime, Davis come to Sax's office, and finally Sax is like, I know it's your brother. And he's like, yes, it is my brother. He's telling him to cut the crap. And he's like, why would you let him go to jail for a crime you did? And he's like, I never knew that this was going to happen. This was something my family decided, and he decided that he wanted to do or whatever. And I was just 19. I was starting out. I was just about to go away to college. I didn't know the things that I know now, whatever. And he was like, you don't think I wanted to confess till I tried or whatever, but this was a decision that he made to do. And Sax was like, come on, seriously. He was like, you could have got this whole case tossed. And he was like, I was 21, Cooper. It was no way that I could get the daggone case, tossed. He was like, if I could have, I would have. He was like, I had got accepted in Columbia law, and, I basically, tried to do the right thing or whatever. He was like, they pushed this deal on us, and he was like, there's nowhere in hell that I would have ever let Theo sign it. I knew, if I would have known that would happen. And so Cooper's like, well, you could apply for plea pressure. And he was like, exactly. That's why, I want you on the case, and I want you to help me or whatever the case may be. And so he says that he best they have redacted files and files that they, hid. And he was like, yeah, this is why I need you to do this, because you know how it is with, innocent black people and how they try to cover up stuff, and you can expose it all. He was like, and save my brother's life. So all of a sudden Cooper talking about, all right, I'm going to help you. I can't believe that I agree with you. So what y'all think about that, child? Put it in the comments, okay? So now Diana over here kissy poo with the TA, honey, until she get a knock at the door. And who is it but Poppy basically coming over. TA was just looking like, oh, okay, I see your family gonna be running all up and through here. You talking about you ain't nothing like your family, but your family sure do stay around. So he leave. And Poppy talking about some, listen, I'm going to really need your help. Kane had a point. He was right and he didn't lie when he said that Stansfield is hot and you ain't need to be moving nothing. But, right now it's tight and we down to the wire and I ain't got no other choice or else I wouldn't be asking. So I'm going to need you to step up, you know what I'm saying, because we don't have a choice. And I'm going to need you to put in this work, girl, okay, for me, all right, and keep your circle tight and be careful. So, your new job will be the perfect cover and all of this. And so at first she even kind of looked at him a little funny, but we know Diana's a daddy's girl and she's just like, okay, I'll do it. Okay, so you just finished telling Effie you wasn't gonna do it, but of course Poppy come and you talking about yeah. So she says she could handle it. I'm like, Lord Lorenzo, you gonna get your behind kicked by Kane again over here putting Diana into it when he said he didn't want her in it. And I guess this is gonna cause drama between her and Effie because now she gonna be selling the pure stuff while Effie is selling the cut stuff. But baby girl, I don't know. So we got Monet looking at the cameras and still seeing Whitman by her house. And, Davis is telling her every time you see him, take a picture. So she do, gather up this proof. We already putting complaints on him. We gonna get his behind. Don't worry about it. Then we got, them getting these cups and seeing how they work or whatever. And Effie actually giving Brayden his props for coming up with this idea like, yo, this is kind of smart. And as soon as he turned the website on, the orders is already coming in. They already about to bring in that dough. And so Brayden gets a text from, you know, Kane telling him to meet him. And at the same time, I think the Jamaica boys was calling Tariq, which I was like, what they told, calling him about. And so he tells Effie to tell, Tariq that he will be right back. And he go down there to meet Kane. And Kane over here choking him up, putting a gun to him, talking about some, you didn't really do that killing because they said it was a black person. And did you even do Lauren, or did you have somebody else do that as well? You know what I'm saying? I don't believe nothing you saying. Tell me what's what and who's who. And you know what I'm saying? If you pay somebody else, he was like, was it Tariq? And he was like, no, it wasn't Tariq. He don't got nothing to do with this. And he says, well, at the end of the day, if I tell you, then you could be implicated in it or whatever, right? This is what Brayden says to Kane. So he was like, what difference does it make as long as the daggone job is done? And so he ends up letting him go after he says that. And he's like, get out of here while I'm still in a good mood. And he picking up the phone, calling Effie, talking about some damn, Effie, where you at? Okay. We need to talk. And I'm like, so we on a call and Effie basis to be like, we need to talk about what? And I'm pretty sure that Kane probably figured it out too, that Effie is the one that got rid of Lauren and that daggone Brayden ain't about taking nobody out or whatever the case may be. He's still saying that he gonna have somebody else to damn take out, child. He don't want to give out on Brayden taking out somebody. So, he has something over his head. But that was the episode, y'all. Y'all tell me what y'all thought about this, what y'all liked, what y'all didn't like. Okay, your rating, all that good stuff. Anything that I left out, let's discuss it in the comments, all right? Give me a wave. Let me know you came by. Put some flames up in the sky. Till next time, y'all. Toodaloo.